In a small village nestled among rolling hills, there lived a young woman named Eliza. She was known for her fiery spirit and unwavering passions. Her heart burned brightly with a love for life, for the world around her, and especially for her dreams. Eliza was a dreamer, a poet, and a free spirit who sought to carve her own path in a world that often sought to confine her. But in the spring of her youth, she met James. He was a wanderer, a painter whose strokes captured the raw beauty of the world in ways that Eliza had only dreamed of. Their love was instant, wild, and intense, a blaze that ignited in both their hearts. They spent days lost in each other's arms, exploring their passions for art, poetry, and life. It was a whirlwind romance, and for a time, Eliza felt as though she had found the very essence of what her soul had been searching for. But life, as it often does, had its own plans. One fateful night, Eliza discovered she was pregnant. The realization hit her like a thunderclap, and with it came a wave of confusion and fear. She was young, full of dreams that stretched beyond the horizon, and the idea of bringing a child into the world seemed like a weight she wasn't ready to carry. James, though kind and gentle, didn't share her sense of urgency about the future. He was an artist, not one for the conventional paths of life, and though he loved her deeply, he wasn't ready to settle down. Eliza found herself torn. Her love for James had been all-consuming, but she couldn't shake the feeling that her life, her dreams, were slipping away from her. The weight of the decision pressed on her chest every waking moment. She considered keeping the baby, but the fear of what it would mean for her future, for her creative endeavors, and for her freedom overwhelmed her. After much internal conflict, she made the decision. She would end the pregnancy. She didn't want to lose herself in the process of motherhood. She wanted to continue to write, to explore, to experience everything the world had to offer. So, she found a woman in the village who was known to help women in similar situations. Someone who could provide a solution. The procedure was risky, done in secrecy, away from the eyes of the judgmental world. But Eliza believed it was her only way out, her only way to maintain control over her life. The night of the abortion, she lay in a small, dimly lit room, feeling the weight of her decision pressing heavily on her heart. The world outside was quiet, but inside, Eliza's mind raced with the echoes of what could have been. She had no way of knowing how dangerous the procedure would be. The woman who performed it had done so many times before, but the conditions were not sterile, and complications arose. Eliza's body, fragile and weakened by the process, fought against the damage done. What began as a quiet pain soon turned into an uncontrollable agony, one that took her breath away. She was alone in the room, the darkness closing in around her, and the world outside unaware of the storm that was raging inside her. Her last moments were filled with regret and sorrow. She thought of the child that might have been, of the love she had once shared with James, and of all the dreams she had held so tightly to. In her final breaths, she realized the weight of her choices, the life she had chosen for herself, but also the life she had lost in the process. Eliza's passing was a tragedy that shook the village. People whispered about the young woman who had been so full of life, so full of promise. They spoke of her fierce spirit, her passion, and her dreams. Some said she was too young to understand the consequences of her actions, while others lamented the cruelty of a world that pushed her to make such a painful decision. James, when he learned of her death, was devastated. He had loved Eliza deeply, but like the artist he was, he had often been lost in his own world, unable to see the weight of the world that Eliza carried. Her death left a hollow space in his heart, one that no painting could ever fill. Years later, Eliza's memory still lingered in the village. Her poems were found scattered in the corners of the places she had once wandered. Her paintings, sketches, and the traces of her spirit still echoed through the world she had left behind. People often spoke of her with love, regret, and reverence, and in their hearts, Eliza's passionate soul was never truly gone. In the end, her story was one of love, loss, and the weight of choices. Choices that were made in the name of dreams, but that ultimately shaped her fate in ways she had never imagined.